to put up, posts on, oh, this is how you vote.
Education.
Voters education, that's the word. Like day in, day out, we started seeing so much information that, I mean, sometimes you wouldn't know that you have already absorbed this much. You just realize that one day that you're having a conversation with someone, you know so much.
And you're just
and then you're like, okay, so how do I have these amounts of information that I didn't even read on? So I mean, during the if we're going to do campaign and social media, placing them side by side, social media was a plus for campaign. I mean, if we're looking at it over the years, like possibly when elections was happening in 1999 or something, and when elections is happening now, I think social media has been like a useful tool.
Yes.
Without saying the negative parts.
Oh, okay. We know we're going to get into the negative part, because if we don't talk about the negative part, it will seem like an incomplete conversation.
Yes.
So yes, so Esther,
yeah,
social media in this election, like Bolade said, there are a lot of people who are politically unaware of what's happening, who are completely uninterested in the political space, or whenever elections is approaching, they seem to play the indifferent role. That social media, played the role of creating awareness, sensitizing these persons. So was that the same experience was that the same thing you noticed or you observed?
Okay, I want to take us back to sometime in June 2022 when INEC registered 5,000 voters at TBS. Now, you would see youth scrambling.
Tafawa Balewa Square.
Yes, at the Tafawa Balewa Square. You would see the INEC chairman, Mahmood Yakubu. I heard him addressing a mammoth crowd, and there was an event organized which was tagged youth votes count. Now there was a concert, and in June 2022 the turnout was enormous. It led to a change of strategy, but pulling out 5,000 youths to come to TBS required a concert. It required celebrities, musicians turned out, influencers were there. You'd see social media influencers, you'd see social media celebrities were there. Now the agency registered over 5,000 people that day. So now he was moved to local government areas. So now one thing I observed is to pull out over 5,000 youths to TBS, you won't send them text messages, you won't call all of them. The easiest place to get that amount of people is on social media. And so when I saw the turnout, this conversation started on social media, and then in real time 5,000 people showed up at one, just using TBS Lagos alone as an example. So I can see that social media brought a response, a physical response out of campaigns for not even just for political parties now, but for the independent body, National Electoral Commission. So it worked for both the commission and political parties. When I say it worked as a tool to pass information faster. I mean, my parents have been voting since I can remember elections, but they don't need to go on Twitter to be convinced to go vote.
To go register,
but most to go there.
PVC.
If I register, what is ready? They already had PV. They already had their cards since I can recollect. But to go out and vote, they don't need to
be pushed.
They don't need to be on Twitter to be convinced to go vote. But the Gen Zs and millennials, not the much older millennials, but the Gen Zs and the millennials came out. In fact, ahead of most 30-year-olds who were voting for the first time. Most of them were
30-year-olds voting for the first time.
For the very first time. Someone told me that as she's 30, she voted for the first time, she needs to be celebrated. So there were lots of first-time voters, and this is because the energy, you could open your WhatsApp status and you just see a WhatsApp, like you see people's WhatsApp status, and that you'll be like, oh, that's true. I said I was going to go register tomorrow, or I'll go register next tomorrow. And it just spurs you up to go do something. But as much as that happened, there was also a shocking, I don't know how to put it, a shocking feel of those who now actually came out to vote, which I don't want to get there yet, but sincerely, when it has to do with sensitization, yes, I saw a lot of town hall meetings, like Bolade
When
said.
you talk about town hall meetings
Yes.
being held on social media,
Yes.
how is that done?
Okay, so let me answer that. So there are different sorts. Like so on social
Instagram?
media, yes,
Yes.
there's something you call video conferencing. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we can have it in different parts. So it could be on Instagram, which is the IG Live, that is Instagram Live, where you can have, about 3 to 4 persons on your Instagram Live while other people are watching from the comfort of their homes.
Okay.
And then people also have the opportunity of joining the conversation by
Conversation.
calling. But however, the host is the only person that is allowed to allow that person into that
the
room.
program.
Now, so you can get into what this is called now, Twitter Spaces.
Yeah.
Now, Twitter Spaces, it doesn't allow video at the moment, but it allows voices, and it allows as many people as possible to speak, to become speakers. And then also you have people on that same call that are listeners, and people that are just opportune to be around that post at that particular time, or around that Twitter space around that particular time, has an opportunity to enter the conversation.
So that particular Twitter space is like a virtual radio.
It is like a virtual radio. However, at this time, multiple persons can talk at the same time, and it happens on Twitter, not on radio and all of that.
Is it being moderated?
Yeah, it is being moderated. So
Moderated
you
on-
have speakers.
Yeah.
You have people that are authorized to be speakers. If
Okay.
you want to be a speaker, you would have to take permission to do that.
Okay.
It is the host that will give you the opportunity to do that. You can't just, all of a sudden start talking on, what's it called now, on Twitter Spaces. Now, just as we have Zoom and Google Meetings and all of those things, but on social media, in fact, I think Facebook also has its own. I know, but I'm not very, familiar with that one. But for
Okay.
Instagram, because Instagram is one of like the most popular what's it called now, town hall opportunities. In fact,
For Instagram.
Yes.
oh my
Okay.
goodness, it is so big that there are times whereby an influencer can be on, and then you just see that 10,000 persons are on it,
Yeah.
Yes.
20,000 persons are on it from different parts, and people would join from different parts of the world just to listen, just to contribute, and then comments will start streaming. Like you would see live comments.
Comments
I mean, you
on the
would
program.
see live comments on the program. You see, and people go as far as not just doing it in the comfort of their homes. They can even have like a studio, or it could even be like
Yes.
in a live event center where anybody can join in. And also that is how big these kinds of, and it reaches you. So it's not just something that it's just restricted to people in Lagos or people in Ibadan or people
Okay.
in Kano.
In fact, let me interrupt you here. Now, ladies, when there's this particular influencer I saw, he's a comedian, he's an actor, and he's also a media person. He had one of these social media meetings or conferencing in using Instagram as the platform, and invited one of the presidential candidates to that platform. And
Yeah.
like you said, there were people that joined to watch and to interact that day on that social media platform on Instagram was more than 10,000 people. Yes, at a go. So, because this particular topic or conversation, it's very, very robust. By the time we start looking at it from different perspectives, so let us talk about. I want us to quickly touch about this particular thing about calling up the presidential candidates or the state gubernatorial candidates to the issue of public debate. It is a known fact and a trend in Nigerian politics that presidential candidates shy away, run away from political debates. And the reason is not far-fetched. They are afraid and they are scared of the Nigerians who they are aspiring to govern. Isn't that interesting? So if we have this on social media, can't they sit in the comfort of their offices to grace these debates?
So let me ask you a question. Does it change the fact that Nigerians are Nigerians? Does it change the fact that the questions that will be asked will be asked? Does it
No,
change the
because-
fact
no,
that,
there should be a
it's the
difference.
same human being
Bolade,
that's going to
there
answer
should
the
be-
question?
There should be a difference when you are answering those questions from the comfort of your home or from the comfort of your office, being surrounded by your political aides who are there watching over you with eagle eye. Should you want to fall off the cliff, they
Yeah.
can hold you back, than being in the public space where you sit with the presenter of the program and just two of you or three of you, you are standing with your co-contestant for that position on the platform, and a question that can sweep you off your feet is being thrown at you and you have no idea on how to tackle that question.
I think it's actually bigger than so now correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Now I think that you actually having a public debate on social media is bigger than you having it in like a conference room. Like hold on, like you having it in a conference room with a presenter and maybe some other journalists and
Yes.
possibly some invited guests. And I'll tell you why. Now here's the difference between doing it on social media and doing it in a conference room. Now the persons present in the conference room is the presenter or the presenters, you and your other co-debaters, press men and women that will be asking you questions, and maybe some, invited guests. Everybody that will be in that room and up to 1,000. Like give or in fact, I don't think they'll be up to 500. And the opportunity of opening the phone lines or actually taking questions from anyone outside that
Of course,
particular
it's
conference
controlled.
is very controlled. That's one. Secondly, is 0 to none, because the amount of questions you get is not up to 500 at that time. How many hours are you going to spend on that particular platform and all of that? However, if you get the opportunity to get on an IG live with the opportunity for people to drop their comments, over 20,000 persons will join, and there are no restrictions to the amount of questions that you're going to get.
Okay, just
hold
a
on,
moment.
hold on,
No, no, no,
wait.
no. I need to
You will get. I need
interrupt
to
this.
finish
No, no,
this. You will get. So now, hold on. Now the persons will get to drop their questions. You can now decide that you want to answer them or not, but the questions are dropped.
Okay.
And it cannot be taken back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, go on.
Thank you very much. Now, do remember that the lines are open. You can call into the program 070010211021. That is 070010211021. And you can send in your WhatsApp messages to 0907-224-5018. 0907-224-5018. We are live on Twitter at Impact 1021 FM. We're also live on YouTube at Impact 102.1 FM. It's on record where every word matters. We're having a roundtable conversation today, and we're looking at social media and the role it played on 2023 elections. Now, apart from the question, the position that Bolade just painted, Esther, she talked about being in a platform where you have just 500 people for the debate. That she's talking about conventional media. If we talk about conventional media, you name all the television stations that we have in Nigeria. We have lots of them. And let's assume that if we have lots of them, let's say we have more than 10 of them. And let's assume that you have 5,000 people watching on each television platform. And apart from that, international community monitors this television platform when we talk about presidential debate or gubernatorial debate, because they equally report on these issues. And these issues are on the global platform. On IG, I know you can equally monitor or watch from foreign countries as well. But the thing is, because they are local and their main television stations, they are equally airing and relaying from our country, from Nigeria here. You could equally have a robust number of people watching too. So I needed to make a distinction between the numbers and how this plays beneficially or in the advantage or the disadvantage that it might have.
So what numbers? The numbers of those asking the questions? Or
Yes, the number
numbers
of those participating,
Okay.
asking the questions, and they know what is happening and how each individual fared on that platform of the debate.
Okay, let me use Chatham House for instance.
Yes.
So while the conversation, while the interview session was going on at Chatham House, you will realize that the questions asked both from the host and from the participants inside the room were more, I don't want to just say controlled, but they were intellectual. You would hear facts and figures. You would understand that this is coming from a professional, scholarly point of view.
Yes.
So now, while Chatham House was while we are watching Chatham House in Nigeria, it's streaming live on YouTube. Check the comment section.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. You would see jokes. You would see
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Annoying statements.
Annoying is
Very
an
annoying
understatement.
statement.
It became so. In fact, after a while, we were streaming Chatham House on a live projector when one of the presidential candidates was speaking, and I at the time I stopped hearing him. I was on the comments.
Okay.
Because it was dropping per time. So just imagine that for every time those comments drop, the candidate has to answer each of the questions that drop in the comments.
Okay.
You may end up not achieving anything.
Okay.
It would be more of a chit chat than an actual debate where you have to come state your manifesto, state what is on your mind. I think it is more now for the town hall, the IG Live that you used as an example,
Yes.
it was more coordinated, right? But when Twitter Spaces as well can be coordinated also, depending on the hosts, the speakers, and who they allow into their space.
Okay.
So social media is not a place where you can absolutely control what people will do.
Okay.
And in fact, people can make you miss the purpose for which you set up that conversation.
So the conventional platform is even more, is better.
So the conventional platform is such that you are able to coordinate people's thoughts while we are speaking. If somebody calls in on radio now and the person wants to use an opportunity to campaign for the campaign season has gone,
yes.
But the person calls in and wants to use the opportunity to campaign. You as the presenter can pick that this is what this person is trying to do and
stop
nip
him
it in the bud.
move.
Thank you. So, but on social media, and social media never forgets. If I go back to that Chatham House live streaming on YouTube,
So
I will still see those
all
comments.
the content and the comments.
They will still be there. So just imagine as like you are standing on that podium and you are answering questions and somebody is dropping, Oga, why your cap be like this?
Okay.
Like you
Which
are,
is completely irrelevant
oh my
to what is
goodness.
being
You be like, Oga,
talked about.
the road where they your village, they never fix them. You are here telling us you will do 10,000 kilometers. Oga, be serious. And they can use it to drag the person down, especially if it's not the person they are supporting.
Okay.
So I'm not throwing away what social media does. I'm saying that giving you the numbers between being on TV, that's traditional TV or traditional radio, and being on social media. I think there are two worlds that we may not want to compare. We just pick what we need from both worlds and take it. And also there's a number of people that cannot reach what is going on social media. I'm not quite sure my uncle in one remote part of Nigeria has any reason to stream Chatham House. What's his business?
Yeah,
but on radio,
on television, or listen to
television, fine. But if he's at his business place on radio,
yes,
he's listening to their newspaper review on radio in his local dialect.
Okay.
So he can connect. So there's like a generation that you've thrown out of social media if you say this is the only place you want. So there has to be both ends, traditional media and social media.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies. Now I want us to, because our time is just moving very, very fast now, there is this conversation, because we have not even jumped into the impact and the influence of social media. We are going to talk about how the results were being collated, how Nigerians were playing the role of, will I say INEC, or playing the role of self-acclaimed and vetted international or local observer snapping things and we are going to talk about that. Yes, but let's talk about, would you say then, what is the traditional media offering that social media cannot offer? Okay, let us look at the advantage of that social media has that traditional media doesn't have, or the advantage that the traditional media has that social media doesn't have. Because from what Esther was talking about, she said in traditional media there is this, you have the ability to control, to limit things that go on air. The statements, if people make statements that are incendiary statements, they make insultive statements, of course you know that the NBC will be gunning for you, and you don't want to be caught on that. So you control that. But there is also another argument that the traditional media themselves are controlling the truth that they put out there. I have been accosted by people I've gone out to interview. Somebody actually wanted to beat me up on the bus stop.
Why?
Yes, because
What
I was
did you
out
do?
there. I want to interview people to get their to get their perspective on issues, and someone came to me and told me, we don't, what they tell us, that's not what we put out there. And he shot me in the chest. He was going to beat me up. It was some persons there who recognized me, came and said, no, please leave him alone. And that was how God saved me there.
Wow.
So the thing is, there is this suspicion against those who operate the conventional media. And I had to tell them, and that's just one occasion, I had to tell them, look, if I give you the microphone in front of the TV and you said you want to insult the president, you want to insult the governor, you want to, insult authority, or you want to make comments that are unacceptable to them, I am not going to put it out there. Of course, I will edit it and remove the insult. And I said it there and then. I'm like, those are the things that does not go on air. But if you constructively and structurally pass across your grievance and your dissension, why you will not agree with this government, or why you will not support the policies of this government, I'll put it out there gladly. So that's just one of the so in your own way, what's this advantage that social media presents that traditional media doesn't present?
Okay, so now the role of the traditional media, our role as broadcasters is to never incite the public. Now, remember that the election period, or the electoral process generally, is that period where everyone is sensitive and, conversations are highly sentimental. I mean, if you remember, throughout this period, different people had different political parties that they were supporting, and they were very vocal about it on social media, especially people that were voting for the first time, like millennials, Gen Zers, and all of that. Everybody was very vocal because, I mean, after the 2020 NSARS incidents, everyone now became very
extra
aware, very active and extremely vocal. In fact, I was so surprised that the energy remained the same for 3 years. Down the line, I was because on a normal, there was someone said something to me. I don't know if it was on the show that we mentioned it. Was it Sarah that mentioned it one day that I can't remember whom, but it was either during On Record or newspaper review where it was mentioned that Nigerians know how to move on from situations very quickly. Exactly now, but it was so and so because of that, after the 2020 incident, a lot of people expected that we'll all just move on from it and then we'll move on to something else and life will just go on. But no, actually, everybody maintained the same energy. Like, it was so loud, it was so big, before, when it was that was last year, towards the end of last year, especially when conversations started on the presidential elections and all of that, you needed to see the conversations on Twitter. It was trending. All the influencers that were celebrities that were always talking about NSAS, they came up again, getting all their fans, getting everybody to start speaking up and all of that. Now that just going back to the question that you asked me, the difference between traditional and social media and the advantages. Now, the advantages of social media is the fact that you get swift conversations and responses. Now, let me take a little bit let me just swerve a little bit from election, and let me talk about businesses. Now, for instance, look at what happened during that period where businesses started having issues with cash, where people started having issues with cash when it first started, when banks started giving people problems, or let me say, people started having problems with the banks, however it is that we choose to put it and all of that. What people did immediately, they realized that they were having issues with their banks, is they tweeted at them.
Yes.
Immediately, if you have a problem with so bank, all you just need to do on your Twitter is at so bank, I am having issues with you, immediately, because it is bad PR for them. They try as much as possible to talk to you and help you to and tell you to take it down. But if I call a radio station that or a TV station that a bank is giving me problem, it will take a longer time, because now the bank may not be listening, the radio station may not have access to the bank, it's going to take a longer time and all of that. But if I tweet at the bank immediately with my with my what's it called now, directly, I will get a response in less than 3 seconds, because they will reach out. And you see, it's worse if I'm an influencer or I'm somebody that is very popular.
Talking about influence, now I want to even butt in here. Did you observe that during elections, when somebody maybe the police PRO or maybe the governor posts something on Twitter,
yes,
you go to the comments, the first thing you see is somebody saying, at such and such bank, kindly release my 10,000 naira.
Exactly. Exactly.
Why are you putting this in the comments? Why people took advantage of high network individuals tweeting?
I am telling
they
you.
took advantage of their comment section to
Yes.
solve
Their problems, yes.
And do you know these banks or service providers respond immediately? And before you find the comments that has to do with what the governor has said or this person has said, it's maybe the 10th comment or something. People did that a lot.
Esther,
Yes.
I can
They did
tell
that a
you
lot.
for free. One of the reasons why I even used the bank is because they're the most relevant in this situation, and
yes,
they had
truly.
the most headache.
Please come
during-
back to election.
During the hold on a
ladies.
little
I
bit.
need you to come back to
Yeah,
election.
hold on.
Back
I'm
to
going.
the
I'm
election.
going. I'm going somewhere now. So if you see how that happened and the swiftness of it, you would understand the fact that on social media you get answers almost immediately. Of course, fake news became populated. Of course, a lot of people started misusing the opportunities.
Yes.
Like people started perpetrating evil
Yes.
on social media
Yes.
at that same time. However, the advantage is the fact that you're able to get swift responses. You're able to get information, out
Okay, Omobolade,
almost
I'll have
immediately.
to cut you short here.
Tell me.
I needed us to quickly go on a break. Probably last us for 30 seconds so we can come back and wrap up our conversation because we still have a lot to talk about.
All right.
Right. So it's on record where every word matters. Do know that when we come back from this break, you can call into the program 0700 1021 1021. You can equally send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. We're live on Twitter at High Impact 102.1 FM. We're also live on YouTube at High Impact 102. Oh, we are live on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM and on Twitter, High Impact 102.1 FM. Thank you so much. We'll be back in a moment. Do stay with us.
Welcome to On Record.
Every word matters.
What I want to do is to take Nigeria from consumption to production.
My name is Mr. Innocent Chugoma. I started by trading on motorcycle spare parts.
They really ask, how much is the Nigerian life worth?
Policing is everybody's business, not the business of the men on uniform alone.
We will establish student loan 4 years course, or the 4 years course.
When you dispense, a pharmacist dispenses a drug to a patient, the name of the drug must be written on the envelope.
On Record is a 45-minute program where we discuss the actions, inactions of government, ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as business and health affairs that shape our worldview.
Join us 9 a.m. every weekday on your urban lifestyle station, High Impact 102.1 FM. On Record.
Every word matters.
Welcome back and many thanks for joining us on the program. It's on record where every word matters. Do remember that the lines to call in 0700 1021 1021. You can send in your messages on our WhatsApp line 0907 224 5018 0907 224 5018. We are talking about social media and the roles it played in the 2023 elections. You might have your own experience of what you did at that day whilst participating. So, ladies, let's go into the main business of the day. Now, there are times where we were in the studio with your phone. You see people take pictures of ballot papers, or people are reporting live in one of, most especially Instagram, and the video themselves, they tell you, we just finished voting, so and so political party actually won this polling unit, they won that polling unit, and they won this polling unit. these are some of the things that happen during the elections. Now, what experiences do you have? Is that a plus or a minus to the Nigeria electoral process?
Okay, first, I must say I like the topic, the role of social media in these elections. Now, for your question, if social media was a plus or a minus, I think that social media was just social media. It played its role. When I mean it played its role, there was networking. So I saw what was happening in what states would I use now? Not even Badagry, in
Kano State.
Ebonyi. In fact, now let me give an instance. When the election results were coming in on the 25th of February, people were posting on their platforms. You know, you could scroll 10 WhatsApp status and you see results. Okay. I saw results from Benin. I saw results from Ibadan. I saw results in Lagos. Some people started writing, how about the KKK? I'm like, what is KKK? And they said Kano, Katsina and Kaduna. So people started posting pictures of we wait till dawn, like they will post in dawn. Some people started writing things like, why are we not hearing the numbers that come with the millions?
Yes.
I saw that on social media. I was like, what does that mean? My dad said, oh, the north, when results start coming in from the north, you start hearing millions. Yes, when the results start coming. So I think that's for what social media did for me. First it was comic relief. Let me just say I laughed a lot. Comic relief, because you saw a trending video about how someone was counting along with the
INEC official, the polling unit.
That's one. There's another point where someone posted, something about moving his own internet to the INEC office,
to the polling unit to help INEC officials get network, because they think they don't.
Then I saw some form of bullying. I saw where somebody was counting results, and then in brackets somebody voted for a party he didn't want, in brackets, and I said, if we catch the person. People laughed, but in my own heart,
it's a very serious
that's a subtle form of bullying, intimidation. Yeah. I saw another part where somebody was the gates, they opened the gates because this singular person voted for another political party, and they said he should leave. And they were clapping for him, like, ooh, something like
shaming the person.
Shaming him that he should leave. So I saw more comic relief, really, but then I saw a lot of bullying as well on social media.
Now, Bolade, songs were released,
I know, Bolade. When what about the incidences where we have social media, where people go on Instagram Live, influencers go on Instagram Live to report how they are being assaulted, how they are being abused by hoodlums and thugs on social media?
Yeah.
Is that not... how do you think the enforcement agency should respond to that? Most especially when some of these persons are known people.
Okay, so this is how I'm going to say this here. Now, unfortunately, we reported the presidential elections and the governorship elections side by side, and I mean, we had different reports from different parts of the nation. I mean, we had places where people did not turn up, especially during the governorship elections, as much as the people that registered for voting. We had places where people turned up and there were no security agencies. We had places where the INEC officials did not get there on time. I mean, you reported that the INEC officials were there, they came a little bit late, and then they didn't have tables. I mean, you came the last time, no table. You came again, miraculous table should just come. I don't understand. Anyways, and then we also had places where violence were incited. I mean, I had places where I had a friend, this is somebody that I know personally, that the person was assaulted, like I saw, properly assaulted at their polling unit and all of that. So you see, there are different conversations and all. Now, for celebrities who went on social media to talk about the fact that something happened to them, did you notice something? as they went on to talk about it, things started happening. Two things happened.
What?
Number one, during the presidential election, when I'm going to use one. I'm not going to mention her name, but of course, when I start to talk about it, people would know whom I'm talking about.
Kate Henshaw
Not
was
Kate,
on,
not
she
Kate
was on
Henshaw.
live.
Not Kate. It was not even Kate Henshaw I want to talk about. Like she was on live. No, when she got, not Kate Henshaw now, when this actress got on live, she was being assaulted by another woman, and a lot of her polling unit was disorganized and everything. And then I think later on, law enforcement came on later. That was possibly after he became viral, because thousands of people saw it. We saw it in the studio. We spoke about it, and then law enforcement agents came in. So even when Fowles also talked about his own polling unit, and then law enforcement came on. Now, if you notice, the next time when they went out to vote, two things happened. Now, the first was Fowles's polling unit. Enforcement agents were there by the time they were going to vote, which means that they did not want the same, this is my deduction, they didn't want the same situation to happen again. But this was what happened in Chima's polling unit. Yes. She was assaulted again. She was harassed, and people now knew who she was. And then they were not like that. According to what she said, according to her social media platform, she talked about the fact that they were pointing at her and saying, "Oh, who knew that this is the lady that put us on social media, and all of this is the lady that talked about us," and all of that. And she was harassed, and she couldn't place her vote. I'm not sure if she was able to do that.
I might have to butt in here. Now the thing is, when these assaults are happening or taking place in different polling units,
yes,
it's obvious that it's live, it's been relayed or streamed live on air.
Yes,
every other Nigerians or every other people could see that. The law enforcement agencies themselves could see that. I know you ladies are not lawyers, but I would still nevertheless want to ask the question. When you see in the polling units, it's been people are doing Instagram live, they're posting what's happening on that Instagram live on that particular polling unit, and they see hoodlums and thugs coming there to destroy activity, to cause destruction. INEC officials, what should the votes from those particular polling units still count? I know you're not lawyers, you can maybe not even answer the question, but it's a rhetorical question. When you see on social media and people secretly film a polling unit, now this is from one of the northern states, they secretly film a polling unit where they saw children. You don't need to be told that these children are between the ages of 12 and 15. They saw children on the queue wanting to vote, and you could see the elders, the adults too, queuing up differently, and those children are voting. There are security officials there. Probably they don't want to say anything because they felt they will be lynched by the crowd if they do. So, but the evidences like that are posted on social media. Now, can INEC make a decision based on what they saw that was posted on social media? Can they discredit that polling unit completely and nullify or cancel that vote? Or would they normally go with their normal stance by saying it is social media, it could have been doctored? Okay, so I just want to put that out.
I was just going to say that the unfortunate, I don't know if I should use that word, the unfortunate part of social media is the fact that people can actually doctor videos. That is what is annoying. The fact that you cannot verify if this is happening, or if this has happened a long time ago, or they just staged it, or if this is just a skit, or if this is people just trying to incite the public, because people have different reasons as to why they do what they do.
There are false stories
there
too.
are a lot of false stories out there, fake news and all of that, which we always tell people not to get themselves involved in. However, sometimes one of the things that I really like to see is when I see a live report. Like when I see, when, people are talking about what is happening in real time, it could be dangerous. Let me not lie. Because see, there's no right or wrong sometimes in this kinds of conversation. However, I want to say something. The essence of people actually documenting this particular electoral process is one of the newest things ever in Nigeria. Because a lot of people before now did not pay so much attention as to taking pictures or, actually taking videos and all that. What it did was it made people more aware of what was happening around them. It also made people more involved. It encouraged more people to leave their homes, to come out, because some people were very, is it what disenfranchised now? Some people, or was it apathy? I think it was apathy. Like, some people were not interested at all. But when they started seeing social media, at least I can tell you 5 persons that because of what they were seeing on social media made them leave their homes to go and vote. And especially, of course, there's a part of networking and fun, and the cruise and everything, because there's some places, polling units that had music and food and all of that. I know. And then, there's a part about celebrities are in my location, let me go and meet them. Or, there are parts like that. However, some people actually got encouraged to leave their homes to go out because, they realized, okay, to this young person like me, nothing will happen. Because let me be honest with you, throughout the voting period where, everybody was talking about, go and vote, millions of Nigerians were home because they were scared. Like I can tell you for free, a lot of people were home because they were scared, because they were afraid of what was going to happen to them. They didn't want to be lynched. A lot of parents were home telling their children not to go out. I mean, I know a couple of people that fought their parents, and they had to leave the house to go and vote and all of that. So now I think social, like Esther said, social media played its role. Like it did what it was supposed to do, put out information. Now you as the person will now decide if you want to take it or you leave it. Do you understand? Like it's a tool. Like you can either use it negatively or positively. That's his job. To give information, to network, and for you to have fun and meet people and just get things. So it's either you take it or you leave it. That's what social media is supposed to do.
I'm going to bring the same question to Esther. Can INEC, give their, either give their assent to a particular, to take a particular decision through just by watching its social media live video from someone who is probably in a polling unit, but just because he doesn't want to put herself or himself in trouble, to just film a process where underage people are voting, or where some other electoral malpractices are taking place, and INEC can, base its decision on that to nullify probably the results of that poll.
Okay, so Krumale, I would say that INEC is at liberty to do whatever they want to do with any information they get, really. Now, even if it's from social media or even if it's a rumor, they're at liberty to do what they want to do with that information. However, they can understand that as much as social media is a tool, there are also some tools that help social media work very well. Fact-checking tools. Now, INEC can tell Twitter, INEC can tell Instagram, INEC can tell Facebook that we'll be getting pictures, videos, and tweets per time, in real time. Help us understand how to fact check. Help us so INEC can partner with these tech gurus and let them know that while this might be a problem, how do you think that we can use your platform to also solve it? Can we have our own officials wear maybe body cams? So that if somebody from that polling unit, because INEC have data of every official at every polling unit, right? So it means that's in the media, we call that correspondence. It means they have correspondence at these units, but because they are working, they may not have the time to be checking the details that a reporter, a journalist will check when we are on the field. So INEC can, now as much as we say INEC can partner with the media, which is what they've already done. That's why there are accreditations. That's why you have a tag as a media personnel, as a journalist, to report and represent the brand or the media house you cover for. But INEC can partner, like I said, with the tech industry to make sure that they know how to verify information, just as you and I verify information. We have correspondence. If I get a call that something is happening in Kano, I'm in Lagos, and I have a correspondent in Kano, I trust my correspondent to go find out the news, the information, to verify that information. So I believe that INEC can work well with these organizations.
We have a call
to get details. Hello.
Hello, and welcome to On Record. What's your name and where you're calling us from, please?
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Yes, good morning.
Yes.
I'm not so sure, but I got this number on the radio. I cannot remember the name of the company, but I heard.
Thank you very much. I think probably you got our number, but probably you want to call on the previous program. So you can send in your message. Send in a message through 0907-224-5018. So we will know how to get back to you. Now, ladies, our time is fast spent. Now, like with what you said, INEC, collaborating. Even there's a collaboration between INEC and the press. There should be a collaboration between INEC and probably maybe Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and other tech companies. But however, I like the fact that you said that INEC officials should wear body cams. We can. Apart from having INEC officials just taking in details and taking in, attending to voters, giving them the paper when they turn print, telling them which box to put the paper in. Apart from that, INEC should have persons who put on body cam who just walk around the polling unit.
It might not even be INEC, it might be the security agency.
No, just say INEC. Let it be written on the shirt.
That's overhead.
No.
That's overhead cost.
No, it is not overhead cost. The reason why I'm saying that is this. You security officers, okay, fine. People have been saying security officers were being compromised. They're not doing their job. They're not doing this. INEC has been saddled with the responsibility constitutionally to conduct elections, to collate results, to announce winners. So INEC should play its own role. They can have INEC officials whose duty is not to go there and count a result or to do anything, but just to put on body cams, to walk around the polling units, look at the people who are on the queue to vote. So even if they see underage people there voting, you don't have to say anything, probably just to protect and keep you safe. But just to show you the record that look, this particular polling unit, I think the INEC chairman or the INEC chairwoman should consider either nullifying the result of this particular polling unit because you have underage children or underage persons voting here. And INEC should bring in other strategies that will help if there are persons who are threatening some other persons that, look, don't come and vote for any other political party here except party XYZ. Then that political polling unit too should be nullified and cancelled. I think if they do that, politicians will sit right and probably take the right course to, winning elections. And our time is fast spent. Thank you so much for your time, ladies. Omobolade Oladekbo.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a good conversation. Let's do it again.
Yes, of course, we will do this. Particular topic of conversation is very robust. It's inexhaustible, so we're going to come back to talk about it. And Esther Kalu, for your time.
Thank you for having me. I think that another thing we didn't really look into is the fake news specifically that came out before, during, and after elections. So I think it's another thing too.
Yes, we will take a very good look at that when we, have another time of roundtable conversation again. Thank you so much, everyone. This is On Record, where every word matters. My name again is Oyin Priye Krumale. Until I come your way again tomorrow, do have a splendid day.
Welcome to On Record.
Every